Guys, I'm here at Digital Sumo Live. Today I'm going to be teaching on how to simplify your marketing and how to make money with Instagram and Instagram stories, regardless of how big or small your following is. And we're going to make this easy. None of those sophisticated machines that take months to build and cost boatloads of money and time that you aren't even sure if they're going to produce an ROI. We are going to teach you guys how to make money immediately from the people that already like, know, and trust you. Let's go in and teach them.
Mr. Vince Del Monte.
All right. You can keep it going for a bit. How's everybody doing today? Should I talk through the music? All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's great to be back here. There's a lot of familiar faces here, and it's great to have my wife here with our newborn. Can we give her a round of applause here? All right. So, I would not be able to do anything I do if it wasn't because of her. And we've got our little newborn here, Aubriana. We've got two at home. So I know Goher's got a family as well. How many family men, family ladies do we have in the room here? Yeah, it's really cool because this online business is hard. Can I get an amen? Is this online business hard? And it's not getting easier. So I have so much respect for anybody who is building a successful and profitable online business, especially with a family, right? We're competing against younger guys who are working 18-hour days, so we've got to work smarter and not just harder. Is anybody interested in working smarter today? Yeah, awesome. So we're going to do some cool stuff today and tell you a little bit about myself. And like I said, it's an honor to be here again. Goher, I can't thank you enough because I like coming here because, again, I know he's in the trenches, and to be able to make money in 2018 is very different than how we made money in 2011. You know, I remember when Flavia did one of her fitness launches many years ago, we'd make $300,000 in 1 week with zero split testing, with no 100% commissions to affiliates. And you just round up the guys, send 4 emails in a week, and next thing you know, you've got 300 grand net in your bank account. Those days are long gone. Anybody remember? Anybody a part of those days? 2011, 2013, when it just like kind of rained money. You don't even know how it was getting into your bank account. Your mom or dad would look at the account and they would say, "I hope that's legal." I don't know how you're making that. Anyways, the internet's very, very different. And today we're going to talk about the 3 irrefutable and easily ignored laws to maximize your marketing efforts, conversions, and profits. I've given myself this name because for many years I have been a muscle building coach. I've built a 7-figure fitness brand helping skinny guys build muscle. All right, and I'm in this transition phase where I'm moving from full-time fitness coach to full-time business coach. I literally feel like I'm starting over. I feel like it's 2006 again, and I'm learning a lot of stuff all over. And we're going to teach you guys what's making money today, all right, and what will continue to make money in 3 years, 10 years from now, laws that will never die, timeless truths, if you will. So you can get familiar with this. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. All right, so quickly, who am I and why should you listen to me? So I am a father. I'm a husband of 3 kids. I share that because it is possible to make money online in context to having a family, all right? It's tougher. You got to work smarter. You've got less time, but it certainly is possible. And I know there's a lot of people preaching hustle, 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 18-hour days, and it burns a lot of people out. So I think it's really important to find people that you resonate with who are doing what you want to do with the same realities as you. All right, a lot of people I see building fortunes are kicking their families to the curb. How many of you guys want to be rich but with nobody by your side? Yeah, what's the point, right? It's lonely. You know what I mean? So we've got to learn how to do this without losing the main thing. So like I said, I've been running a 7-figure online fitness business for 10 years. I got started in 2006, and 2 of the funnels that we run our traffic to, for those who are interested in seeing how are you making money in the fitness space, Vince, what's putting money in your bank account, it's these 2 offers right here. Get Living Large, which is a physical book I wrote, and we give that book away for free. It's the classic Russell Brunson, free plus shipping, upsells, and we run paid traffic to that offer through Facebook and through YouTube, and we convert nicely on both those platforms. We run Instagram ads as well, and we run traffic to a quiz funnel, a Ryan Levesque style quiz funnel, which identifies their goal and then recommends a program based on their number one struggle. So this is how we're making money in the fitness space. And then those two pieces there, those are essentially customer acquisition pieces, and where I don't make money on those are either a loss on the front. Where I make money is from a physical newsletter I have called Maximize Your Muscle. It's a $47 a month newsletter, and we have over 500 people who are paying $47 a month to get a physical newsletter sent to them in the mail, and that's how I feed the family. All right? I feed the family with the recurring revenue, and those two front-end offers just bring in customers, right? We need those customers, all right? So this past year, I launched the Vince Del Monte 7-Figure Mastermind, and this is a mastermind dedicated to fitness professionals, basically guys who've said, hey, Vinny, how have you done what you've done? I want to start an online business. I want to quit my job. I want to sell fitness information products. How do I do it? So I launched a 7-figure mastermind. I've got a couple of my students here. Kate and Phil are in the back. Mo's here somewhere, and we are at 73 members in this coaching program. And this has turned into $1 million business in less than 12 months. Almost all net profits, because there's virtually no expenses on a mastermind. How many of you guys would be interested in learning how to sell a high-ticket coaching program without any sophisticated funnels? All right, cool. That's what we're going to look at today. And then I'm going to teach you why it's converting at these crazy rates. All right, what's really making this work? So in the past year, I've shifted from fitness coach to business coach, and now I'm dedicated to helping guys like myself 10 years ago to do what I've done, and that's where we are today. Now, you're not going to believe how I grew this thing. Instagram. I didn't even have an Instagram account 2 years ago. I never understood it. Is anybody out there like, Instagram, do I need to take this place seriously? That was me. I never took Instagram seriously. I thought it was just a place for good-looking people to post pictures of their abs and show like cars they were renting, or just to showcase a lifestyle that was their highlight reel, which I knew was just a facade. All right? I'm like, this place is horrendous, you know. I felt sorry for everybody on Facebook because you can't fix what you fake. And I felt like everybody on Instagram was faking it. So I'm like, nobody here is actually serious, because nobody actually wants to get better. It's just, hey, look at me. So I never took it seriously. So I'm going to share with you guys my simple, no-nonsense approach to selling high-ticket coaching items, just to get you guys to see the power of it first. All right? So I learned this from my coach, Craig Ballantyne. Craig Ballantyne has a $5,000 workshop called the Perfect Life Day, and he basically teaches you how to get the most out of your 24 hours based on where you want to be 3 years from now. And he told me this. When we were at our last mastermind, he said, Vince, all I want you to do is create highly targeted content. That should say create highly targeted content with captions and photos for your dream clients. All right, so who's my dream client? It's a fitness professional who wants to make more money online. So this is a post that was 10 ways to sabotage your online fitness business. So if somebody is liking this post, are they interested in building an online business? Yes. So we got a whopping 301 likes. Not a lot of likes, but that's 300 people who raised their hand and said, I'm interested in what you're talking about. All right? So what did I do next? I literally go in to the like section and I start scrolling. And I start literally looking at each person's profile to find people that could be my dream client. Now, how many of you are thinking, man, this is really inefficient? Who would agree that the value, though, is in the inefficiencies in life? This is the most non-automated process you will ever learn, but it's the most profitable. All right? And we'll just keep going here because I'll show you how this plays out. So I found this individual, Nick and Patty, and I look at their profiles, and they're both online coaches. They're putting out great content. They're my ideal customer. They're trying to make money with online coaching. I noticed they've got a lot of great photos. They've got great captions. I'm like, these are the guys I want to coach. I'm literally looking for individuals that I know I can help. Okay, so after I do that, I move to step 3. And I'm going to show you screenshots so you guys can see this is legit. And this is the most recent one. You can see September 4th. So what we're going to do next is we're going to slide into the DM. And I'm going to give you the DM script. All right? I paid $50,000 to get this from my coach. He gave me a lot more than just this. But this little script here, if you just apply this script, and again, this script can be applied if you want to reach out to an influencer and see if they'll promote you, your product or service in a moment. We're going to do an exercise so you guys can all come up with your own perfect DMing script, okay? So I saw Alex's profile. He's an Optimum Nutrition athlete, and he's doing online coaching, and I quickly realized this is a guy I want to coach, and I sent Alex this message. Hey Alex, you interested in building a successful and profitable online business? ? And now Alex wrote me back here, hey Vince, we met a long time ago at Olympia. I was competing at the Olympia back then. I'm just getting information about flights, and I'm going to be attending your mastermind in New York. I haven't even talked to Alex yet. He's been reading my content. He's been following my content. And he said, but yes, I'm interested in learning more about what you have to teach. So he didn't actually know what I sold. He doesn't know the price point. He doesn't know what you get, but he's expressed interest. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take a second and I want you to write down what is your first DM to get them to raise their hand for them to express interest in your product or service. And if you're looking to have an influencer promote you, what would that DM be? Now, before we do that, I want you guys to see the power of this message. Am I solving the mystery with this little quote, this little line here? What do most people do when they DM somebody? Hey, I checked out your profile. It looks like you've got great potential. It looks like we'd be an awesome match to work together. I'd love to jump on the phone and tell you all about my products and services. Dude, I know you're about to pitch me. You just spoiled the mystery. Oh, you're just out to get my money. So there's an art to this. If you send anything other than this, they will ghost you. I've split tested all sorts of different messages. There is an art to every one of those words. Are you interested? All I'm asking you is, are you interested? What's also the power of this little quote? If you're at the airport about to go through customs, heck, you could reply, yeah, what's up, Vinny? If you were at Starbucks about to put your order in and you got this message, like, yeah, tell me more. Anyone can raise their hand. I'm not asking them to do much other than just to identify themselves. All right? We'll keep going here. So once we've slid into their DM, they typically reply with something to the extent of, sounds awesome. All right, we're missing a slide here. I actually updated it, but that's okay. And we're missing the next slide, which would say, let's say they say, sounds awesome, or yeah, tell me more. Then what you need to reply back with is something that goes like this. Great, I just launched a 12-month coaching program dedicated to fitness professionals who want to take their business to the next level. I teach you how to get affiliates, launch your product, and maybe I'm just going to throw in one more benefit that's custom to what I know he wants. And then I'll finish off with, it's exactly what you need. And then they typically write back, awesome, cool, sounds like it, wow, love to hear more. Okay? Because they've already told you they're interested. So then you reply with this. Great, let's get on the phone and I'll tell you more about it. Are you available right now? Great, let's jump on the phone and see if you're a good fit. Here's my calendar link. All right, so I send them my calendar link. Yeah, a couple of my slides. Oh, there you can see it right there. And I actually congratulate him for making a decision fast and firm. So again, it's not like cut and paste. This is not cut and paste. You do not outsource this to your assistant. You do this yourself. Because there's an art that can tell if it's been sifted, if it's been outsourced. So he jumped in my calendar. And I was actually taking his call when I was driving up to Burlington to get a haircut the other day. And the first thing he said to me when I jumped on the phone with him to get the call started was, "Hey, you don't need to pitch me today or sell me. I'm already sold. Just want to know what the payment options are." It's an $18,000 mastermind. He wanted to do the pay in full option, so it's 15 grand. He wired me 15 grand that night. All right, no tripwires, no webinars, no, sophisticated machines, nice and simple. All right, so this is the power of engaging with people that already know you and are pretty much good to go. So there you guys go. Hey, Alex, Sherry will run the card soon. A little gift from me in the meantime. And I sent him a talk that I did at another event to start getting him results in advance. All right, you always got to get your clients their ROI as soon as possible. All right, so that's how you can engage with people that are engaging with your content. And then from there, everything is done on the phone. All right, we never, ever, ever, ever give someone the prices on the DM. Why don't we give prices on the DM? What do? We empower the buyer. All right, I lose all control when I give somebody the price. Selling's not about delivering the value, it's about being able to communicate the value. All right, everybody focuses on, I got the value, but you don't know how to communicate it. I know how to make 18 grand sound like a drop in the bucket. It's like a no-brainer. How can you not invest 18 grand when we start thinking about the ROI over a year, 2 years, 3 years? Like, this isn't an expense. I educate them on the phone. Rich people never say, I can't afford this. They say, how can I afford this? Rich people never say, what's this going to cost me? Rich people say, what's this going to cause? And they're like already starting to think, yeah, that's right, it makes sense. I'm teaching them stuff on the phone, so they're already making their money back in the way I'm selling them. They're learning how to sell on the phone by the way I'm selling them. So we use a traditional script, problem, agitate, solution, and I use a lot of Grant Cardone style hard questions. Anybody follow Grant Cardone? I'm like a Grant Cardone disciple. I love the guy. And I get right to the point. Within the first 5 minutes, I'm already asking them, hey man, what do you need to know to make a decision today? Why now? Why not now? Why me? Why wouldn't you want to do this today? What's most important to you and a coach? Every 5 minutes on the call, have you heard enough to make a decision yet? There's only 3 reasons you're not going to buy today. 1, you're not the decision maker. 2, you don't have the money and can't afford it. 3, you don't believe it's going to work. Which one is it? So these calls I used to do these calls in 45 minutes. They're down to like 15 minutes. Did I get to the point? Right? So that's like another side conversation. But with these calls, you need a trained professional who's committed to phone sales. I love it. I do it myself. It's a thrill. And it's also an opportunity for me to make sure I get the right people in the coaching program. One bad apple spoils the entire group. So I have to make sure that they're a good fit. Selling is not about twisting somebody's arm into something that's not right for them. It's about making sure that the offer that I'm offering them is right for them. That's why we always have 3 options. Write that down. If you're pitching, always have 3 options. We've got 3 options, an 18K coaching program, or they can come and sit in for $1,700, or they can just get some online videos to get them started for $500. It's my job to figure out which one is right. I have a 100% closing ratio because I'm just directing them to the offer that makes sense for them. So we're never selling, we're just closing. All right? Never sell, you always close. And then we also understand the fortune's not in the follow-up. The fortune is in the frequency of the follow-up. All right? Some people take time to, and this goes for anyone who's trying to seek an influencer out. You can't give up after the first try. These influencers are getting hammered by a gazillion people a day. You've got to plan out you have to be investing into the people you want to promote you today with the hopes they might do a deal with you in 2 to 3 years from now. These influencers, why would they do business with you unless you're just going to pay them a boatload of money? So you've got to understand the fortune is not in the follow-up, it's in the frequency of the follow-up. So we have a 30-day follow-up system. We'll send them a postcard right away. Then I'll send them a message on, hey, here's something I think you'll value. I thought of this based on the conversation we had. I start getting them results in advance. I start creating value for them. All right, we have a mega follow-up system because these influencers are not even going to get back to you. They get 100 plus DMs a day. Right? So you got to get them on the phone. And you're going to start, you can run this same script on an influencer if you have something to offer them you have an echo there? Can maybe kill that? Thank you. All right, cool. All right, so I want to show you guys the results on how this has worked, because that's the big question I always get. Does this actually make money? It absolutely does. And you can actually make it all net profit if you're doing something like in the coaching realm. So here's the numbers and how this worked out. I run a mastermind every 90 days. And what we do is we invite people to come in on the mastermind to sit in on it for $1,700. And then at the mastermind, I invite people to join the $18,000 coaching program. So our one in Tampa was in February of this past year. And that weekend was a $184,000 weekend, which occurred in about a 10-minute invitation. It's not a pitch. I don't like calling it a pitch because it's just an invitation for them to join a group that's already helped people that are doing what they want to do. May, we did it again, $125,000 in this past August, a few weekends ago here in Toronto. We had 22 individuals come and sit in to test drive the mastermind. 2 are here right now, Phil and Kate, and they came and got to test drive the mastermind. And that's how I actually met Kate, through the DM. It was literally a day before the event. I said, "Are you coming to my event?" And I think he said, "Is it too?" I thought it was too late. I said, "No, you can sign up today." She signed up today, and now she's on pace with her boyfriend and scaling their brand new online fitness business. And they're going to quit their airport jobs really soon, right? So this works, right? And again, you're just finding people that you know you can help. All right. So this past weekend we had 17, 18 people, 22 people sit in on the mastermind, and 18 of them signed up for the $18,000 coaching program within a 30-minute window. And like that energy that night when we all go out for dinner is amazing. You know, people are enthusiastic. Nobody gets their arm twisted. We don't twist because the whole premise to this is understanding there's 7 billion people in the world. And if you guys are trying to reach out to influencers, how many? There's a gazillion influencers out there. If one guy doesn't reply back to you, you don't need him. You go on to somebody else. So you have to understand that the service you have to offer the influencer, if that's what you want to replicate, is going to be of value to them. And you don't give up, and you just follow up. You create value. And eventually somebody will say, "Hey, I'm interested in monetizing my following a little bit more. I'll be interested in hearing about your product, your service, your supplement, whatever you have that they could start making more money from because they don't know how to market. They don't know how to monetize their own following. All right, these influencers aren't businessmen. They're the farthest thing you can imagine. They have no clue how to build a business. Right, so they need you guys. If you have a product and a service, you have a funnel, they need you. They're literally, they can't literally keep the lights on. I've met some of these guys. They've got 2 million followers on their social media following, and they literally can't put bread on the table. They're broke. And they're trying to project this lifestyle that's all a facade. So if you have a funnel, something that you can come in and you can say, "Hey, I've noticed what your brand's all about. You know, I'd love to jump on the phone and figure out how to make this a no-brainer payday for your business," they're going to be interested, especially if you do it like in this way. Are you interested? And then if they raise their hand, tell them what it is, and then say, "Yeah, I'd love to hear more." Put them in the calendar, get on the phone, build the relationship, follow up with them. That's how these guys will eventually come on board. I've got a pre-workout that's just been launched, and I'm launching an ambassador program. I want influencers to promote it. So what we're doing is we're getting people to apply. And that's one of the big things you guys want to do. If you want influencers to promote your brand, you need to create an application page where they have to say, "I want to be an ambassador for you." You got to flip the script. And they have to have at least 10,000 Instagram followers. And you create essentially the spec of what they have to do, and you pay them very handsomely. All right, so my guys are going to promote our pre-workout. They're going to make 50%, right? Because I've got a high-ticket coaching program, so I'm going to monetize the back end. I want to give them as much as they can make on the front end. So what you want to do, if you want to get influencers, you got to get them to apply. Now they take you seriously. Right? Who's this guy who wants my freaking follow? They get pitched every single day. There's no chance you're going to get handpicked by them unless you flip the script and show them that we don't need you. We have an opportunity here for you, and that's what you're going to do. So, how many people just had an aha moment on how they can replicate this for their business? Good. Awesome. As you can see, it's not complicated. There's no sales page. There's no webinar. There's no tripwire. We use just the phone. So what is really making this convert? And let's just go into the 3 things that I want to discuss here today. And the biggest thing is you. It's you. They're buying you. If they're looking on who to align with, at the end of the day, they're either buying you or your product or service. All right, for me, they're buying me. All right, and I want to run through these things. This is what makes your marketing convert. And I'll tell you where this whole presentation came from. So my coach's name is Bedros Keuilian, and he just launched a book, Man Up. Anybody know Bedros? He's awesome. So he's been my coach for the past year, and he uses the same traffic buyer as me. All right, we use the same guy. He sells a $25,000 franchise, and they're doing a couple $100,000 a month in ad spend on their funnel for their franchise, and I'm doing well as well. But I was just expressing, marketers, we're all trying to do better, right? And I said, yeah, I don't know if we could be. I think we could maybe be doing better with our ad spend, and we're using the same traffic buyer. So he's over the top, ecstatic, and I'm happy too. But I was trying to figure out, are we getting as much as we could? And he goes, Vince, we're using the same traffic buyer. The reason I'm making more money than you is because I'm a celebrity and you're not. People want to give their money to celebrities. People want to give their money to authority figures. So it's easier for me to take, he flipped the script on me. I'm thinking to myself, I've spent 10 years thinking I got to find a better traffic buyer. I need to find somebody who can, I need to find a more sophisticated platform. I need a different webinar. I need to find a new data guy. And my coach Bedros said to me, he goes, it's your job to help your traffic buyer make money. I'm like, no, I'm paying him. It's right. If I'm getting Tommy to run my ads, it's my job to make his ads convert. It's not Tommy's job to make my stuff convert. It's on me. He's good, but he's not that good. He's good. He's really good. But he's not that good. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's that good. So you guys have to stop asking around, hey, how's your traffic buyer? Hey, how's your copywriter? You can't expect the copywriter to work wonders. He can do, Stefan can do some great stuff for you, but if he's working with an amateur, if he's working with a crop duster, not a fighter jet, what do you expect? You have to step your game up, or they can't do anything for you. And then you're like, oh, it didn't work. Oh, maybe it was the headline. Maybe we got to split test more. Maybe it was the offer. Maybe we got to switch up upsell 1 and upsell 2. That stuff is all important. Do not get me wrong. That is all very, very important stuff. We do all that stuff. But you have to think at the end of the day, what is really making my marketing convert? And this is what it is, you. So let's dig in. You are the number 1 conversion factor in your business. Number 1, your authority. 2, your story. And 3, your street cred. So your authority is basically you need to become a celebrity in your space. People need to know you as a go-to guy. 2, your story. We're going to talk about this. You got to get naked. 3, your street cred. You've got to have epic social proof. All right, so let's just dig into some of these, and I'm going to let you guys take notes and start to unpack these for yourself. So what does this one mean? Your authority is just understanding that people are influenced by people of status. People are influenced by anyone who has more than they have. People want to work with people who have what they want in excess. Does that make sense? I already shared so my traffic buyer's name's Robbie, and I shared that story with you. So with Bedros, his marketing's converting more than mine because, Bedros spent the last year connecting with the biggest names in the industry. He connected with Andy Frisella, Ed Milet. He was on Sean Stevenson's show. He connected with everyone on his top 10 list, but I think Gary Vee. He was on Grant Cardone just a few weeks ago. I got a shout out from both of them. It's the highlight of my week. And but he aligned himself with the biggest names in the industry. So you don't need to be sold. It would actually be weird if people went to one of his offers and it was like a 95-page sales letter because it's like Bedros. Does Brad Pitt need a 95-page sales letter? And I know some of you are like, yeah, but I'm not like a celebrity. But we want to start moving in that direction. I worked with a professional bodybuilder a few years ago, Big Ben Pekulski, and I wrote the sales page. I'm not that good of a copywriter. I'm okay. I would say I'm maybe a B-. I'm okay. But the stuff converted like crazy. We're getting EPC's earnings per click $13. It was insane. You know, just like we couldn't even believe the numbers. And it's because Ben's a celebrity. When people got to the sales page, it didn't matter what we wrote. It's him. People were buying him. So if you guys are publishing people, what's your job? Your job is to find a celebrity. You guys got to get those guys that are not monetizing their following. And you guys want to know the secret to getting somebody to publish? It's really simple. Just pay them double than what they're being paid right now. And they're yours. It's really simple. That's why these guys bounce from supplement company to supplement company, because one company offers them 13 grand a month instead of 10 grand a month. They don't check the profiles of the ingredients. Number 2, you've got to commit to becoming number 1 or 2 in your marketplace. You know, I've got a number of competitors in this online fitness business space, and the reason people come to me is because I've been doing this for 10 years. They say, Vinny, you still got your rod in the water. You're still fishing. They see my funnels, and they're like, hey, you're still running traffic. You're not just teaching people how to make money. I respect that. I think that's cool. You're going to be able to teach me how to launch my free plus shipping offer, my quiz funnel. All right, so you got to be number 1 or 2. I don't know much about the economy and stuff, but I've been told it's going to get bad. Is there going to be another one? Is there another one coming? You guys know, I can tell a lot of you guys are way smarter than me in this stuff. I've been told the next one's going to be even worse. And the only people that are going to survive are number 1 and number 2. If you're not number 1 or number 2 in your space, it's going to be rough. So you got to commit. You got to decide, I'm going to dominate this marketplace. That's why I gave myself that name, the number 1 online fitness business coach. You think my coach gave me that name? I gave myself that name. You think a friend gave me the nickname, the skinny guy savior? I gave myself that name. You guys got to give yourself titles and then start acting like it and live up to it. All right? Lastly, to be able to do this, you need singularity of focus. You need singularity of focus. You've got to say no to the many so you can say yes to the few. How many people have something they need to kill today? How many people are chasing pennies while they're stepping over dollar bills? Yeah, this is tough. And some of you guys have got projects moving and they're just like, they're pennies. You're literally on the ground trying to like scramble some nickels together. And you got to just kill them. And you got to get singularity of focus on one thing. It's hard enough to make one thing work. You're trying to get 2 or 3 things to go, good luck. So for me, what does this mean to me? I'm getting close to walking away from a 7-figure fitness business to being full-time business coach. You don't think there's a little scary? I got to have that conversation with Flav. Hey, Flav, we're done with fitness. I'm moving into this new world. I want to be the next Tai Lopez, the next Grant Cardone, the next Gary Vee. I can't keep making videos on how to build biceps. It's not congruent. It's like, Vinny, I don't get it. What do you do? When someone asks you, what do you do? That's already a problem. All right? What do you do? All right? They need to know, all right? And your team needs to know. So we need that clarity of vision, that clarity of path. Your team needs to know as well, or else everybody's just running in different directions. Nobody knows what's important, and you guys know what that results in. All right. So how do we do this? I'm going to give you guys some tactical things. Number 1, write a book. Number 2, get published in your industry magazines. Number 3, increase your prices. Number 4, collaborate with other celebrities who have your customers. Ideally podcasts, videos. Be seen with them. Get on their shows. They'll elevate you. Read. Your content's got to be on point. You can't be putting out, as my friend Greg O'Gallagher says, pish posh. Can't be putting out fluff, right? If he puts out fluff at this event, you guys aren't going to come back. He's got to bring the best speakers in who are teaching you guys what's making money today. He does a great job at that. So you guys have to ensure you're on your game. You got to be leaning in. You can never take your foot off that gas pedal. All right? The moment you take the foot off your gas pedal, you're done. The most dangerous words I said in business was when I passed the $1 million mark, and I said mentally to myself, sweet, if we can just do this again next year. Guess what happened? If we could just do this again next year, things start to go backwards. You got to always be accelerating. You got to have that momentum. I think, how many people would agree that they feel most alive when there's momentum in their business? It means that's a real entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurs, we feel most alive when there's momentum, some form of progress. We've passed this milestone, then this milestone, and this milestone. And we all know the milestones never end, right? Right? There's not, yes, we're trying to hit them, but at the same time, we keep setting new ones. So you just have to realize this is how we're built. Number 6, you got to be interesting. Ty Lopez talks about this. What's the number one way to get people to follow you and to give you their attention? You got to have an interesting life. You got to be somebody you would watch. Ask yourself, would you watch yourself? Would you watch yourself? And again, this requires you to step up. You're like, man, this is hard. I've always got to be on. Can we ever turn the cameras off? Flavia's nodding her head. Can we ever just turn the cameras off? Well, we signed up for a different package here, babe. We didn't sign up for the 9-to-5 package. Unfortunately, this package comes with always being on. And we're getting better. But it's tough. The last one, 7, run paid ads. How many of you guys are committed to running paid advertising? You got to run paid ads. You got to find the guys who can run the traffic for you. Because why? Why? Money follows attention. If you have no attention, you get no money. You got to be everywhere. And obviously there's strategy here to figuring out which platform makes sense for you, not just spreading all your money thin. I focused on YouTube for 10 years. And now I'm on Instagram. We're coming back to YouTube. But you have to understand there's only 2 reasons your business will die. What are those 2 reasons? 1, people don't know who you are. 2, they forget who you are. Otherwise known as going into obscurity. So we have to be spending money. We got to be running the live events. We got to be doing this. We're filming this right now. This is going to go up on YouTube. People are like, oh wow, Vince is still relevant. I thought that guy was done a few years ago. I understand. They're trying to figure out, is this guy the real deal? Is he just trying to slip one under me? They're testing you. So you guys have to always be out there. Lastly, host live events. If you want to be taken serious, not taken seriously, but last night, I haven't met Stefan prior, but someone told me at the table, he just ran an event, and you had 55 people come at $10,000 a head. You think that grabbed my attention? Who are these 55 guys? like that's impressive. The fact that he's running a workshop, he's running a 3-day event, he's bringing people into a room, people are flying in, that elevates your status. So ask yourself, what event can you run this year? And it can start off with 4 people, 8 people. It doesn't have to be a big room, but it's got to start. You got to do the things today that will keep you in business in 2022. You got to act today with the intent to be in business in 10 years from now, not next week. You got to have that long game mindset. All right, let's talk about number 2, your story, otherwise known as getting naked. All right. This one's really cool. There's actually a book called Getting Naked. I forget the guy's name. And it's all based on vulnerability. All right? How in the heck are we going to compete against Amazon? Sometimes it boggles my mind how I sell a $77 muscle building ebook. You can go to Amazon and get them for $2. Why are people buying $77 ebooks from me? I'm selling air. Why are they giving me $77? And how are you guys going to compete with Amazon? They got the best prices. People need to know that you're a real person, that you have real pain points, that you've struggled, that you were not always where you were. All right? And I just like this quote here, Getting Naked, because it's, this story's a little vulgar, but there was this dude, high school, and he was shredded. This guy was like a walking god, massive pecs, 6-pack abs, just star of the football team, just all the girls, just oogled this guy. I'm like, oh my God, if I could only be like this guy. And I remember, after gym class one day, taking showers, and I realized why some of the guys nicknamed him Junior. And I quickly was like, huh. And when you start to see people naked, you start to quickly realize, hey, they're not who you thought they were. Or maybe you see a female in the locker room and she's like, hey, she's got rolls too. Hey, she's got some cellulite too. And you're like, oh, I thought she was perfect. And you've got to get naked and you have to tell them that you know what it was like when you were in their shoes. And I always tell the story about my first business. When I launched my first business, it cost me $7,500 to work with a coach. And I thought that after I launched my first ebook, No Nonsense Muscle Building, that my life was going to change. 6 months of work to get this thing off the ground. I launched the product. $7,500 later, crickets. 2 weeks later, I saw my first sales notification in my inbox from ClickBank. Guess who it was? Me? you were up there. No, it was my mom. It was my mom. And then I got another sale a few weeks later. Guess who it was? A buddy of mine from the gym. I was like, this is hard. I thought it was going to get rich quick. No, quickly realized that's not true. And I tell that story because I know the feeling that my students are going through when they're trying to get their product off the ground. Right? It's a long runway. And there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. You could put all this time, money, and effort into a campaign or hiring someone, launching a product, and there's no guarantee. Entrepreneurship is lonely. Most people don't get us. So when I tell that story, people are like, oh, wow, I thought Vinny just, did really well because he started in 2006 when there was no competition. My mentor told me, do not go in the muscle building space. There's way too much competition. In 2006. I remind people that I had it tough too when I started. It was a different kind of tough. So I tell another story when it comes to business because a lot of people that I tell about my coaching program have been scammed or jaded or have invested into a coach that didn't help them produce an ROI. And I knew Flavia was going to be here today, but a couple years ago I made a big mistake. I outsourced my marketing to some Facebook ads experts. And their pitch was, we're going to blow up Flavia's business because she was a new mom and she didn't have the attention to give her business. So we found these two guys and they're supposed to run her Facebook ads and just run everything. And it was a $50,000 investment. And we didn't realize for an entire year, and I had Flavia take that money out of her bank account from a launch that she had done. I got her to trust me. I said, this is what's going to blow up your business. 1 year later, we found out they were con artists. They'd done it to another couple too, a husband and wife. And then they also took the ad spend and they kept that too. And I didn't realize why they never gave us their contact information. I didn't have their phone number. It was all done on Skype. I didn't have their actual real addresses. We couldn't do anything. $55,000 lesson. So when somebody comes to me and says, I'm skeptical, I've been burned before, I tell them, I share them that story. And by the way, that's not the only story. I got to save some face here. Finally, speak the truth. Speak the truth. I don't talk about getting rich quick, but I definitely talk about getting rich eventually. I definitely believe in getting rich for sure. I don't preach get rich quick. So whatever your brand is, speak the truth. You got to get passionate. People got to believe, this guy's really real. He means what he's saying. All right, so how do we maximize your story? One, you got to tell them about embarrassing mistakes that you've made, the ones that you don't want to tell. Get before and after photos. And again, I was just speaking to an individual who's got who's got a home service, that he fixes roofs up. So show the before and afters. Kitchens, the same thing. Just show them the work before you got them as a client, or the product here and then the product there after you got your hands on them. Humanize yourself and introduce strangers to your family. I'm big on posting pictures of the family. My dad always texts me and says, Vince, why do you got to publicize your family? I tell him, Dad, you can't live large while hanging on to small. You can't expand and contract at the same time. If you want to grow, you got to put yourself out there. And that means, people really connect with me because I'm a family man, and I whatever you want to call playing that card, but that's who I am. That's what makes me unique. So you got to figure out what makes you unique in your space, and if that's something that you're okay with, I would encourage you guys all to humanize yourself and not to be afraid of, but there's weird people in the world. Guys, strangers have every single thing you need in life. You need to start making friends with more strangers and stop being afraid of the world and listening to all the media that just makes everything a horror story. It's not that bad. It's just what you're paying attention to. All right? So think about how you can humanize yourself, even if it feels like, why are you posting that stuff? Aren't you making yourself vulnerable? Hey, maybe I am, but you can't live in fear. Use one story to make a point. We kind of talked about that when you're doing your content. Stay strong in your beliefs and be polarizing. I see way too many people trying to stay on the fence. You got to say it's right and it's wrong, right? You can't be afraid of saying the words right and wrong. We live in a society where everybody's afraid to offend people. That's wrong. That's right. You're making a mistake. This is the right way to do it. You can't be like the scientist and always caveat everything with, it depends on, well, the variables are really interesting. Nobody wants to hear that. People want leadership. They want to be told what to do. If you're a leader, you've got to show the way. Or they're going to find somebody who's more strong in their beliefs. And then learn how to use metaphors and parallels when you communicate so that people can really connect with what you're saying. Finally, and then we'll save some time for questions, your street cred, otherwise known as epic proof. So one of the things that we've done to blow up our coaching program is a series. And the series is called Becoming an Entrepreneur. It's a video series. You can watch it on YouTube. My brother's a documentary award-winning filmmaker, and he challenged me to up my video game. And he said, Vince, if Netflix approached you, Vice approached you, ESPN, if HBO, if one of these big networks approached you, what kind of video content would you give them for these networks? And as soon as he said those names, I'm like, HBO? My gosh, what would I create for HBO? I definitely wouldn't be doing those silly talking head videos. And he challenged me to think about a series, like a real legitimate TV show that you could create. And what we do now is we feature my success stories. And we just drove up to Collingwood, Ontario the other day, and we featured one of my guys, Will, who went from a struggling 5K a month to now he has a coaching program. He's doing, he went from 5 figures a year to 5 figures a month in less than a year. And for him, that changed his life. He lives up in Collingwood. He doesn't like the city, and we told his story. He wants to get a house on the beach. He's a ski instructor. He lives with his girlfriend. He has a coaching program where he charges $2,500 a month for fitness. I told him, up your prices. I actually didn't tell him to go that high. I said, holy mackerel. He goes, you told me to up my prices. That's amazing. And he's got a very highly targeted audience, and in our world, he's killing it. And we featured his story. And what we're going to do with that video is we're going to run YouTube ads, Facebook ads to that video, and then from that video goes to an application page where then myself or one of my coaches get on the phone and see if they're a good fit for the coaching program. That's our business model. High quality video featuring your success, a success story of one of your top students, application to phone. What else do they need after they watch that video? So I encourage you guys to start thinking about, in church we'd call these baptisms. Anybody seen a baptism when they talk about the, darkness to light story? And you're like, why am I crying right now? And you need the right videographer, you need the right storyteller, you need the right music, you need the right shots to make these really emotional. If we have time, I recommend you guys all go watch them. They're on my YouTube channel, Vince Del Monte, and there's a series called Becoming an Entrepreneur. Those videos will produce more ROI for you than any other marketing activity. People need to see it. You can't tell them you're the real deal. They have to see it. I'm hardly in the videos. We interview the wives in the videos. Hey, what was it like when Jordan asked you to told you you were about to invest into an expensive coach? How was that conversation? So we get those shots, we get those conversations, so the objections are overcome by the time we get on the phone. So what could that story be for you guys? What must your audience see to believe? Let's say you're selling a greens product. Drew Canoli killed it with a video that showed, hey, you can buy all these veggies over here, or You can take one little scoop, put it in the water, mix it up, drink it. That 160-second video blew up their brand. So what do they need to see to say that's the obvious choice? And then lastly, align yourself with true authority figures. And I shared the story about Bezos aligning himself with a lot of big name speakers, bringing those speakers to speak on his stage, and then getting on their podcast, bringing them on his podcast. He built up strategic collaborations over the past year. So when his book Man Up just launched last week, it was an Amazon bestseller right away, and they sold out within a few days. And he's got no problem connecting with pretty much anyone he wants to connect with now, because he committed to increasing his street cred. All right, so how do you do this? Run contests, transformation contests to get these stories to come in. We talked about, those are kind of two of the same. Hire a badass story writer and videographer. Commit the next 2 to 3 years to just case study videos. You've got to have the best case studies in your niche. Whatever your niche is, you've got to have better stories, better social proof than anybody else you're competing against. If I'm looking for a guy to run my YouTube ads, if I saw a video like that of a guy in my space who blew up his brand with paid ads on YouTube, I'd be calling him right away. I don't need the pitch, I just need to know how to get started. It's like, sign me up. I'm already sold. I'm ready to go. Run all your traffic to these case studies. Next, what events could you attend? For anybody here who's take pictures with Goher, the speakers. Just, you got to elevate your celebrity. People don't need to see that you're doing something cool this weekend. Do not leave this event as if it never happened. And then you got to just, show people you're the real deal. Now that I'm in business, again, I don't say this to brag, but we got 2 new cars last weekend. I got myself a Bentley GT Super Sports Continental, and we got Flavia the Volvo XC90. They're both out there in the parking lot. And the reason we take those photos and post them are not to brag. If you're to hire a personal trainer who you want to help you get ripped, would you hire somebody who's not in shape? If you wanted to get huge and strong, would you hire a scrawny guy? If you want to hire a business coach, are you going to hire somebody who's struggling themselves? So it's just social proof. Again, obviously there's a way to not make it look douchey, but people do need to see it. This guy's actually, like, you can't rent the house, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things you just can't fake. You got to have those things you can't fake. All right, guys, that's it. If I can help you in any specific way, I'll be here a little bit afterwards. We can do some Q&A right now, or else you guys could just hit me up on the DM. I'm on Instagram. I live there. It's Vince Del Monte, and I just want to thank you guys for your time and your attention, and congratulations for showing up today and investing into yourself.
Mr. Vince Del Monte. Awesome. Is my mic on? Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Vince, you missed the powwow session, so I'm just going to have you sit over here, buddy. Okay. And we'll do some Q&A, and I'm just going to make some comments about influencer marketing. Come over here, buddy. The reason why I brought Vince here to talk about being an influencer, reaching out to influencers, because that's really where it's kind of going towards. Just going to make a couple of comments here. For those of you guys who are in Dumo, Digital Sumo Elite, you remember I did a swipe this on the brand Daniel Wellington? Who saw that? Put up your hand. Good to know you guys are consuming the content. Just my 2 employees put up their hand. Okay, who knows the story of Daniel Wellington? Oh, this is going to be interesting. So this guy, I think he's from Eastern Europe. He ends up going to England, just on vacation or whatever. Completely young guy, young lad, doesn't have a lot of money. He ends up meeting an Englishman by the name of Daniel Wellington. So he goes, my name is so-and-so, what's your name? It's Daniel Wellington, with the English accent. I can't do a good English accent. So, and the one thing that attracted the guy to the Englishman was not only his accent and how distinguished he was, it was the watch that he was wearing. And he goes, well, where'd you get that watch? And he was just like, oh, it's just a little cheap thing. Must be like, $10 from China or whatever. So this guy, have you heard the story, Vince? He ends up going back to his country, and I think it was one of the Norwegian countries, and he starts a brand, and he names it a brand of watches. So he gets the watches from China for really cheap, starts selling them for $97 on Instagram, by the way, and he calls the brand Daniel Wellington. In 36 months, they've gone from 0 to $1 billion with no paid ads. You know how they did it? influencers on Instagram. That's all they did. Soon as people saw people holding the watch on Instagram, and I wish I had you guys should really consume the content that I create for you guys and I put out for you. It really would be a benefit, right? So the point is that a lot of the stuff is moving towards influencing, reaching out to influencers. I mean, like Vince is an authority in his market. I mean, I could very well sit here and say, that's a cool brand name, Vince Del Monte socks, and put it on Instagram, and he'll be wondering, how did my name get on socks? I'm sure there's a Daniel Wellington somewhere in England pretty peeved off right now. Damn, took my name. Everybody knows who Kylie Jenner is, right? Put up your hand if you don't know who Kylie Jenner is. She's part of this little Kardashian circus or whatever, right? She will be the youngest billionaire in history in 2018. I think she's 21 years old? And yeah, she was born when I started my internet marketing career. And she's going to do $1 billion this year across all her different brands. You want to know what her sister Kim did? Well, the biggest driver for, I hope I'm not boring anybody. Is this of interest?
Great, yeah.
Okay, so the biggest driver for Kylie is her skincare line, or whatever she does. That brings in hundreds of millions of dollars. Her sister Kim just launched her own skincare line. Why do you think she did that?
Because it works.
Well, that's pretty evident, yeah. But why else?
Because they can influence each other.
Well, because everybody who's using Kylie's skincare products is going to wonder if Kim's is just as good. So she's now going to leverage off of her. It just tells you how crazy influence is, and he's so right. Everybody wants to watch or be like a celebrity, and why are you surprised if you're asking your 10-year-old or your 11-year-old, what do you want to do when you grow up, and they say, I want to be an Instagram star, or I want to be a YouTube star, because people crave attention. Oh, by the way, Elon Musk didn't resign as CEO. He resigned as chairman, just to clear that up. But Kanye West has now officially, you heard it here, changed his name to Ye as of today. Ye, yeah, yay, or whatever. Yay. You guys are way ahead of me. All right. So, with that being said,
Money
Vince.
follows attention.
Yeah, money
Gets it.
So let me ask you something, Vince. In terms of the people in the room, if they wanted to reach out to an influencer, you're so right. The typical way people do it, they would direct message you. Oh, I love you. You're the greatest. Your biceps are huge. When can you promote me?
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah.
Well, I'll tell you what. You don't reach out to the influencer. You need to get someone that knows them to vet you.
So how would they do that? For example,
Right,
let's say
you really got to kind of orchestrate, like, who do I know that has a relationship with this person? And that person needs to say, hey, you need to meet so-and-so. I just did a deal with him and we crushed it, and you guys will make a lot of money together. So you have to find somebody that they trust to vet you.
So would you look at like the degrees of separation
Yeah.
on Instagram and start connecting with 1 degree from the person who you really want to connect?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
just so that everybody can clear up a misconception here, you don't have to go out and pay an influencer $1 million. Talk about micro-influencers and what they could possibly do for your business. Like you said, the ones who are 2 million followers, but they can't keep the lights on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot. You can go on the volume game, right? It's you want probably a combination of both, but there's a lot of it's a full-time job. Whoever's going to be building your ambassador program, it's a full-time job to be building these relationships with influencers. They need to be scouting them, getting to know who they are, finding out what they value. It's a long process. They got to be planting a lot of seeds. But yeah, you could. A lot of them will take a couple $100. Some of them will take like on the supplement side of things, most of the top guys are maybe making $4 or $5 grand a month. So it's just kind of like your first step is just to research what are they. Money talks, guys. This isn't complicated. It's finding out what are they being paid right now, and can you pay them more.
All right.
That's the short part of it. But if you can get vetted and then offer them something that's promising. For example, I've got a friend. He's getting paid $4 grand a month from bodybuilding.com. I know that's his number. If I can give him more than $4 grand a month to promote preload, I've got him on it for 12 months. So it's just kind of like figuring out the first thing I would do is identify your top 10. Who are your top 10 influencers, and then figure out that 1 degree of separation and try and create value for that person first. So then when it comes time to say get that introduction, they can say, yeah, now's the right time to introduce you to so-and-so.
Dude, it reminds me of affiliate marketing.
It is literally.
As soon as somebody paid more, all the affiliates
guys,
take off.
He just nailed it. This is literally affiliate marketing in 2018. This is the Instagram influencer market. It's literally pay them a commission and get results with somebody else so they can share their results with the guy you want to move to next.
All right, let's turn it over to the floor. Who's got a question for Vince or about influencer marketing? Put up your hand nice and high. Stefan?
Hey, great presentation, Vince.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. 2 questions. One is, I know you're really hands-on in your sales process. So I'm curious, what other parts of your business do you delegate or kind of automate, things like that? Because I know you're hands-on there, but are there other things within running your coaching group and your mastermind? Are you then working with assistants and having people who are handling a lot of the day-to-day stuff, or are you super hands-on?
I believe the number one, there's 3 things every entrepreneur needs to do: delegate, motivate, and sell. So I delegate virtually everything but my 5%. And my 5% is creating content on Instagram stories, showing up, Instagram lives, Facebook lives, and doing my accountability emails with my coaching students, doing the actual service part of the business. I have a full-time project manager, full-time copywriter, media buyers. I have a full-time videographer. Everything is virtually outsourced except the motivating and selling part. I do that. So I have, yeah, does that help?
Yeah, that's great. Super helpful, thank you. That's a good note for everyone, I guess, again, right, is that you're focusing on your 5% that's making you the most money, that's driving your business, that's growing it, and you're letting everyone else handle all the other stuff.
There was a big fear block, just to add to that, where I was like, but this is gonna cost me money. One of the things Grant Cardone taught me is that you can't increase the top 2 inches of your financial statement, the top line, without every other line on your financial statement also going up. So I had this idea that you could get bigger, you could expand while contracting at the same time. Your payroll's got to go up if you want to see your top line go up. Your product suite has to go up if you want to see your top line go up. You might need, I got talking to guys now, I'm in a new world, they're like, I have 3 media buyers. I'm like, holy cow, like, oh yeah, they're all pitted up against each other. This is a whole new world. So yeah, so as your top line goes up, every other line will go up. The whole idea that you can live large while hanging on to small is middle class thinking. I don't know, you will get stuck. If your business is stuck, it's likely because you're hanging on to one of those beliefs.
Awesome. And then one other follow-up on this, and it might be a silly question, but how do you when you talk about posting Bentley pictures and not being a douche while you do it, I'm authentically curious about that, because I have times where I want to share like lifestyle shit, but then I'm like, I'm gonna look like a douchebag, I'm gonna look like I'm bragging, I'm gonna look like whatever, and so I don't do it. But I'm just curious, like, how you found like the art of sort of, showing your authority and success without coming across as like a total like D-bag.
I mean, when you look at the Instagram, it's a great question, by the way. When you look at the Instagram page, it's like a storefront. So I think if every single photo was with the car, it would look pretty desperate and thirsty. But I think if it's well done, like it's in the background, you know what I mean? Like my brother and I, when we take the photos, we're like, just show a little bit of the wheel. Like we try, it's like a guy who's in great shape, right? My wife always says she always likes the guys that you can tell are built, but aren't wearing a tank top. It's like, you don't have to show, you kind of show it a little bit, but I think if you're showing it too much, now they're starting to wonder, okay, we saw it the first time. So I think it's a balance thing, and just ensuring that it's more like in the backdrop as opposed to the forefront. And it is an external motivator. I think I did notice a little uptake in coaching clients coming in, because some people want those external motivators. I do find though that the best coaching clients are the ones that aren't externally motivated by the nice things. And but just to throw it in there here and there, I think it's a frequency thing, how often you do it.
But it's true, and these are real life stories that I share with you. Before somebody would buy one of my coaching programs, he wrote to me and he said, "What kind of car do you drive?" He sent me an email, and I'm not a car guy, I wrote back to him, I go, I drive a Toyota 2007, that's me, man, and a minivan, because I got 4 kids, buddy. If that's going to be what is going to decide whether you want to purchase or not, that's totally up to you, but I get it.
It's got to be authentic.
I get it.
It really does have to be authentic. Like I wanted a Maserati. Flavio was going to get it for my 40th, but I drove it and it was stiff. I didn't like it. And I did a post on it. I talked about it. So I think you got to know your audience. I deal with younger guys. This is what they want. So it's got to be a part of your brand. It's got to be authentic. There's got to be a story. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't really overthink it. You know, Frank Kern, though, on the other hand, the guy's loaded. He knows his audience. He's got 2 Rolls Royces, and he never shows them. He doesn't show the house because he knows his audience doesn't like that. And he talks about that. He's like, I intentionally don't show my home. I intentionally don't show the cars because my audience is sick and tired of that stuff. But he's doing great, and Ty Lopez is doing great. So it's just, you got to know who your dream client is.
So I haven't followed what you've done on Instagram, but I follow Vince's stuff on YouTube. Even though I connect with Vince once or twice a year, I still feel like I'm connected to him. Because if you watch his videos on YouTube, they're very authentic. Like, I watch them, dude, like kind of in the back while I'm working, but I see him, the video where you got out at 5:30 in the morning, you're getting out of your car with a nice soft music, and he's walking towards the gym. And, you know, especially in the muscle business, I'm assuming most people think this guy's going to be a douchebag. Oh, lift weight. He's very authentic about the way he does it. He talks about his family a lot. Basically, you're making yourself a human.
Yeah.
You're humanizing yourself, and people start to relate to that.
So the guy that we just did the story on, Will, who's one of my top coaching clients, when Mikey interviewed him just a few days ago in Collingwood, he says, so tell me your story. Like, how'd you come to meet Vince? He goes, so he started talking. He goes, well, when I first saw his stuff, I thought he was a really douchey Guido. And then he goes, am I allowed to say that in the video? And my brother Mikey goes, well, you just did. So we're leaving it in. That's what he thought. Can't control. I do look like a douchey Guido sometimes. So let it. I don't get pushed away from that. I lean in. I double down on that. I know. Number 1 rule selling. I know, I totally agree. I look at myself every day in the mirror. Tell me something I don't know. Look at the nose, look at the hair. Of course I look like a Guido. So you can't let people like push you off. I'm like, bring something new to the table.
So you probably got the trolls, right?
Oh yeah, and you thank them for making your skin tough. Yeah. But again, it's good. It's just having that self-awareness. You know, money follows attention. You need that attention. Some of the best things that could happen to some of you guys is getting like some hater doing a video about you because, hey, somebody will finally know who you are. Some of you guys, I don't want to get called out. That could be the best thing that happens to your brand this year. You finally get called out, and now people know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you gotta realize, like, the only 2 reasons your business dies is they don't know who you are, they forget who you are.
And right where you just said that, they forget who you are. That reminds me of a story. You know, everybody knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is. And Vinny, you might know, this was in the news about a year ago. He actually went to a hotel that he was instrumental in inaugurating and launching. Yeah. And they wouldn't give him a free hotel night. They said, you're paying full price. You know what he ended up doing? What? He ended up posting a picture of himself sleeping on a bench in front of the hotel with basically a sign, like a kind of homeless sign, but it says, doesn't matter what type of legend you are, you will be forgotten one day.
That's awesome.
And it's just true, though.
Yeah, it is true.
It's true.
And with all this stuff, you know, a mentor told me your competition has the same problems as you.
Right,
everybody's struggling with the same stuff, so you just have to realize that if you can make that leap and do that one thing you know you need to do that will take your business to the next level, you're going to have a competitive advantage. Hire the media buyers, hire the copywriters. I know it's scary. Hire the coach. Put the money out. Your competition's like, oh man. So I mean, I just encourage you guys to stay in these rooms and stay plugged into guys that are always leveling up and doing big things because it'll force you to think way bigger. And you know, making money is a brain game. That's all it is. Making money is how you think and how you act.
We'll take a question over there.
Yeah. Vince, a question about your social media content strategy or content strategy in general. Do you have a strategy for it? Do you have a schedule for it, let's say a weekly or monthly basis? And how much time does it take you on average? And finally, how long did you see pushing that content out before you start seeing results? Like I saw 2-3 years in your slides. Is that really how long it
Yeah,
took?
with Instagram, I use Instagram stories, so you guys can see this whole day documented on there soon. And I do 90-second stories each day from Monday to Sunday, and each story finishes with a call to action to jump on the phone to see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one coaching program. That's my call to action, singularity of focus. And then we post at least once or twice a day. There's a lot of debate on that. Just be consistent, show up. I don't overthink when I post, morning, PM, it doesn't matter. That stuff is all like minutia. Your business, the reason your business is growing is not because you're posting at 6 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. That is not what's constraining your revenue. So it's just being committed to being consistent. And if you're going to do YouTube, I was just telling Mo, I'm going to commit to 60 videos in 60 days to blow up the YouTube channel. Because I'm leaving the fitness stuff, we're going to the business stuff, I got to start creating some traction. So frequency, I think there's a lot of value in frequency and engaging with the community and getting the comments going, because people are toying with you. You're like, this is another entrepreneur, really? This guy's selling something too? They don't think you're the real deal. They think you're a clown. They think you're a joke and you're just here to sneak one past them. So you have to keep showing up and say, hey, there's 7 billion people in the world. I don't need your money, man. I'm growing this coaching program with or without you. You don't say that. You could say it actually, but you have to believe that. That's how my brain operates.
One more.
Yeah, when it comes to building your own celebrity online, do you actually post your pictures authentically, or you run it by your wife and both of you are like, yeah, this picture makes me look cool? Or do you actually utilize sources online that scrub pictures, get feedback on pictures before you post?
No one thing can blow the deal, man. Don't overthink it. There's no one thing that will blow the deal. If somebody stops following you or decides not to follow you, it's not because of the one picture. Something else. No one thing can blow a deal. So just post it. Trust your gut. Your gut is oftentimes your best coach. I'm starting to learn. It's literally taken me 12 years to start listening to my gut. I'll post something, and then my brother, who I respect immensely, will say, dude, man, really? Did you just post that? Here, I rewrote it for you. Post this instead. I'm like, no, man, I know what I just posted. You have to trust your gut, man. Sometimes you'll go off track and you can get back on track. Even Nike makes a bad shoe. They take it off the assembly line. They don't do it next year. So you got to give yourself permission to screw up. Don't overthink it, man. Just pump it out.
All right, perfect. So that's a wrap. Perfect, because I'm tired of holding my chest up. All right.
I think it went good. It was the first time I've shared that talk, and I think it's one of the most important talks that entrepreneurs embrace and take very, very seriously if they want to be in business in 2022 and beyond. And you got to really just flip the script and look at the guy in the mirror, the gal in the mirror, and figure out, what do I need to improve so more people invest into my services. And it really just comes down to people seeing you as somebody that does invest in themselves. Right? Because people don't invest in others that don't invest in themselves. So let me know where you're going to invest. Is it your authority? Is it your social proof? Is it your story? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know what resonated with you from that talk, and we will talk to you next time.